Namaste. Hi. Yesterday, I was stopping at a point about those which misleading us in a journey towards the destiny. So let me speak on that. We have given the reputation in this life, anybody and everybody, any human, rather believing in three facts or three things and highly highly influenced by that. Yeah. Which are those? And you maybe get stunned by saying that because I am here going to break out all conventional thoughts. Three things: history, science, and education. So you may be thinking that history is misleading us, science is misleading us, and you are saying education also misleading us. In a complete, I am not saying in a complete sense, but somehow, somewhere, mostly I will say, mostly we are misled by these three things, and we are mostly respectful for that things, those things, because a historian, a scientist, and of course a master or teacher or educationalist. So what is the fault there? Here I want to say that because before that I will say its qualities, its advantages, especially histories. History is the first thing. History is the embodiment of mysteries, mysteriousness. History is that something not to be believed completely. And what is the advantage of history? Yeah, of course, we are getting familiar with somebody left with this globe. We remember that by the knowledge of history. And we are getting familiar with, like Mahatma Gandhi, Sri Buddha, Ashoka, Emperor, or William Shakespeare, Bernard Shaw, great souls. But what is the misleading fact in that? Ultimately, what is called history. Yeah, very well. History. It's a story also. Every country had certain particular group to write histories. The respective countries of the respective countries. Maybe it's America, maybe it's Canada, maybe it's Australia, maybe it's Greece, maybe it's India. But there is. And these storytellers somehow inclined towards some political thoughts, which is prevailing today in that country, that particular country. If it's in America, maybe Republican or something else, political ideology. In India, it will be BJP or something else. So, the political decisions influentially grab the power to think of the historians. So they are not independent, they are dependent, absolutely. Anywhere in this world, if we read a history, you can see the body language or the format, so-called format of that history. History writing. What is that? Anywhere in this world, history has history been told in a straight way? If it's so, you will throw that book. You will say, "Arey, boring, boring, boring." So history is mixed, it's sophisticated. It's a mixed up. So mixed up with what? His requirements. Who writes the history as per his requirement? He mixing up some facts, not facts, some things, some matters. Could be facts or not. So we have to think that before we read a history book, we should be looking ahead, because this is not the real story. This is not the real fact. Some mixing up have gone there, and the real fact will be concealed. As an Indian, I can say that. You maybe a lot of would read about Indian history. A lot of historians are there, and novelists also there. From the ancient history, the age of Puranas, Mahabharata or Ramayana, would you say there isn't any misinterpretations in that history? In near days, before at least 10 years, maximum 10 years, the government has given an affidavit at Supreme Court that there is no Ramasetu in this country. It's only Adam's bridge. The foreigner called Adam has built that bridge. The government of India gave the affidavit. So they supplemented with some historian facts. But a normal Indian, an ordinary Indian cannot digest that, because they say Rama is a symbol only. There is no any personality in this world had been called Rama. The Ramayana is ultimately a novel, and Rama is only a character. Rama did that. Rama Vigraha and Dharma. He was the embodiment of virtues. Would you believe that? Maybe you do, but I don't, because I am a spiritual man. I know facts, and I want to know the realities. In my childhood, school days, I was also believing that Rama is some kind of a symbol only, and the mixing up came there. After 40 years, sorry, after 30 years at least, I came to understand that. Because the Ramayana is not only an epic, but a true story also. Of course, there will be maximum. As a novelist, Valmiki Maharshi could do something like that. So a storyteller must do that. But a historian mustn't. So, what is the history in the real sense? History. Your political, social, or educational inclinations will be influenced in your writing. It's not a wrong thing, but it's not a right thing too. Because you want to wake up, at least you want to understand that your upcoming generation has to know the truth. So as a historian, you must think that I won't mix anything up with these real factors. So history is so-called some writings up, some write-ups, and I don't value about that anything. Of course, I have also been reading historical books, history books. What is the kind of narration? Mahatma Gandhi in 1848, October 13th, while he was taking his lunch, he thought so. And how he can say that Mahatma Gandhi ji has thought so? If you say he said something, I will believe. I won't believe. But the historian writes that he thought so. How? How you can say that? Rather understand anybody's insight. So history is completely, I don't say completely, but by the 80% of at least is concordant. So we don't have to believe completely the histories. We are dependent to the histories anywhere in this world, and we assume histories as an authoritarian class. What is said in history is the truth. Yeah, of course. Aren't we? We are not thinking so? Can you say no? If I say something opposite to the contradictory to the history, you will say you are mad. The histories say otherwise. So that is the influence of the histories in your life, at least day-to-day life. So of course I agree the advantages of histories. We could understand some people before ages were living here and they were great souls. They were doing such things. Yeah, we understand that by these history facts. But if it gets sophisticated, our thoughts also will be shuffled by doubts. So history is not at all an authoritarian system, but only to understand your past things. And my dear friends, I am asking, why you are so adamant to believe the history only? Why you are sticking on? What is the history is including so much valuable? I don't think so. History is something writable. History. As I said, the past things. What is the greatest foolishness of this human being, is being proud about your past and concerned about your future and forgetting our present. This is the biggest foolish thing. Don't waste your time saying past. Historian always befalling you. Because as well as they know, we also know that there is nothing in the past. Yes, of course, we are proud of Gandhiji. We are proud of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. We are proud of Kalidasa. We are proud of Vyasa Bhagwan. We are proud of Valmiki. But the only pride could do anything good for you further. So what is your duty? To understand that their works, their servings, their services, their practices, their words, that would be inspirational for you to have a great, bright future. So you must follow them. But don't think to be so. You only have to follow them. Because errors have been made in the history that is affected generations, especially in India. While we respecting somebody, we are forgetting the very important personalities. For instance, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel have been forgotten and insulted by us, while some undeserved personalities have been worshipped. Subhash Chandra Bose, like Patel, the same have been happened. So many crores of people have taken part at our freedom fight. How many we know? And your 10 fingers enough to count them. Would you say that? Only that 10 people fight or did fight to get the freedom for our nation. So, history is balancing never. Like I said that before, rather. Don't get into conclusions by reading a history. I will exemplify. Today, a channel called Al Jazeera. I am borrowing Arnab Goswami's words. A Jurassic channel, Al Jazeera. And there was a talk about Kashmir. Why they are talking about, I don't know. But they have certain interest in Kashmir. Religiously, of course. So they are saying Indian administrated Kashmir. Who are you to talk about Kashmir, my Kashmir? And you are going with your cameras to anywhere you can. And Mike, my dear friends, you just listen. This channelman goes everywhere and put their camera on only on negative things. While being at Mumbai, watching a TV, I am thinking in Syria, oh, what mess is going there. But if you ask a Syrian, he will say, there is not such a problem. Because it's repeatedly visualized before us, and we think about a nation, not a son, not about a son, not about an area, about a nation, about a country. We think Syria is like that, Africa is like that. Why? They are shooting only negative things, and they shoot negativism into your mind by that. The same is happening with history. When you read a history book, there could be a hero. Would you notice that? Would you have noticed? There is a hero. In a history book, how there come a hero there. But mostly in a history book, there could be a hero. From that point, we can fix that it's a created novel. I don't deny it, because maybe some true facts would be there, but mostly it's cooked up. As I said earlier, they're mixing up with some untrue facts with true facts. So we cannot realize, we cannot recognize. That is the magic of history. In India, what was the position of us about Kashmir or about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel? And what is now about him and about that? This is the difference. The history has given not such an important position to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel as he deserves. So Patel was just a man, but whoever knowing the real history have respected Patel at a great extent. So history is not balancing. It's not completely true. Like I said, and who creates history? Think that. Medias. Every time. Before years, it was newspapers were there. Now news channels are here. They are creating. Ultimately, today's matter is tomorrow's history. Is it? So history, what is there in history a big thing? Nothing. So don't waste your time thinking on your past or being proud of your past. Yeah, you have to be inspired by such great souls. But don't stop there. Read further, know further, inquire further, inspect further rather. So I will be a good man. You will get a real picture of that type. I request you, it's also not a necessary thing in a man's life. So don't supplement history to prove you are anything. You are saying about your father or mother, would you supplement historical facts to prove that? I mean, prove their grace? You know that ultimately. You are inspired by them. Then move ahead, yeah. Go ahead. Why you look into the past? Why you look back always? If you often looking back, how you can run forward speedily? So that will make you slow in anything. I have a real fact about Gujarat. Now what is the image of our beloved Prime Minister in this world? And what was created? So sometimes the reality get unveiled. Then the people will come to know the truth. So don't get befooled. You got a brain, yeah. Use that. Read books. Something is good, accept it. Something not, reject it. Chimanda has once said, Swami Chimandaji, listen, calm, everybody. Accept which is good for you. Reject which is not. Simple. Those were his words. So, history may be giving you something good. Don't depend on that. Don't get a slave before it. Don't get adamant. I will only believe historical things. Mostly it's cooked up things, concocted things. So your journey towards that destiny will be hindered by those things. You will be doubtful to go forward. So you please put aside the history, especially the past. Don't think so much about past. Don't get concerned about future. The historians predict something somewhere. Luckily, something has becoming true, becoming happening. But mostly us are lost. Historian will predict that will be going to happen, that is going to happen, that is going to happen. In 2014 and 2019, they have predicted something, but failed, miserably failed. So, how they are to predict? Don't depend on predictions. Your future will be decided by you only. Not a history will be decided. And your family members would say, you are going to take an IAS? And how? You are a stupid man. How you can pass an IAS? Don't stop there. Don't believe their words. Because if you have decided, your destiny have decided to become somebody, you should be. So let your destiny decide. Don't get so much sliding towards history, historical facts. That is the problem history makes. So I have talked about one system that mostly influenced to a human being's life, that history, and I have not yet completed about history, but the time is gone. The upcoming days I will talk about rest both, I mean science and education, how it will influence your life. So for today I am signing off. Goodbye, have a good day. Jai Shri Krishna.